St. Lucia Forensic Science Laboratory officially attained accreditation from the American Association for Laboratory Accreditation in 2022. This year, 2023, Vice President of the United States, Kamala Harris, announced that the Department of State will provide technical support and funding to designate the St. Lucia Forensic Lab a Center of Excellence for Regional Forensics.
And that vision states that we strive to be a recognized center of excellence for forensic science in the Caribbean region. We have received the support of the U.S. State Department through its Bureau of International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Agency, INL, and they have supported our initiative or our drive to be a center of excellence.
The accreditation of the lab benefits not only St. Lucia, but the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court's jurisdiction and other judicial bodies in the region.
It gives us an assurance that what we do, the results that we give out, are results that can be trusted. And so that gives the courts, the police, the public assurance that what they are getting is results that matter.
National Security Minister Herman Gil Francis says the additional testing equipment from Taiwan to help beef up services at the forensic lab will be put to good use. He also anticipates that with additional funds provided by Prime Minister Alan Chasney, it won't be long before the lab becomes the envy of the Caribbean, and that soon it will be used by other Caribbean states for their crime detection.
I know that when I hand over the equipment to her, she's going to do a fantastic job. Our lab has proven to be one of the very best labs in the Caribbean. And with further assistance and monies provided by the Honorable Prime Minister, I can assure you that soon other countries in the Caribbean will be using our lab for their detection of crime and so on. So
the minister is also extremely grateful for the generous donation of personal protective equipment for his frontline officers.
We will use them very well, and I'm happy, especially for my frontline workers like the fire officers and police officers who are really the first respondents, that they will be knowing for a fact that they are safe and their families will be safe.
So far, there have been 21 homicides for the year, and Mr. Francis is expecting that the new equipment will prove to be very effective in solving the crimes. In an effort to solve more of the unresolved serious crimes, Prime Minister Alan Chasney has announced measures to have the forensic lab internationally certified for DNA, forensics and ballistics. He says the lab will be the only one in the Southern Caribbean to achieve this.
We've also seen the success in the advancement of our work of our forensic laboratory. In fact, our forensic laboratory is currently undergoing an audit in order to be internationally certified for DNA, forensics and ballistics. We would be the only unit in the southern part of the Caribbean to have achieved this feat.
The current administration inherited the forensic lab from the previous SLP administration. Tourism Minister Alan Chasney says the lab was poorly thought out. Chasney says it is a project too expensive to have been envisioned only for local use.
We do not have proper forensic services. Government after government have come in. We've now built a forensic lab, something I'm not in support of, because I feel that the forensic lab should have been a regional approach. I don't think any one of us has sufficient crime in itself to justify a forensic lab by itself. I mean, we may think that 26 or 30 murders or 35 murders is a lot of murders, but when you calculate it in terms of what it costs to run a forensic lab, it's a lot of money on a per murder basis.
The man whose government began the forensic lab project has called on the minister to check his facts. Dr. Kenny Anthony says the lab was always envisioned as an OECS-wide initiative. He says the minister may have to look within his cabinet to know why it is not being used in that capacity.
On average, in the last few years, we have had continuously 30 murders a year, sometimes much more than 30. You can't look at murder statistics in isolation, select one year and say 30 murders don't justify a forensic lab. The fact of the matter is, I don't think the minister is aware of what is going on in his own government. When the forensic lab was conceived, the intention always was that the forensic lab will provide services to other OECS countries. It was a question of inviting other countries to access the services of the forensic lab in St. Lucia.
People prepare to honor thee, majestic Pito, Sulphur Springs, St. Lucia, land of beauteous things.